Welcome to DFS Insights, where the game behind the game comes to life. I am David Geislinger, and alongside me is David Grant Jr., my cousin and co-strategist. The teams up on the block are the Minnesota Timberwolves at the Denver Nuggets.
With your lineup success as our top priority, this is where David and I will dive deep into our top three players that we like for this specific game in the series. We'll break down the strategy behind our picks and share the insights that will help you put your lineups over the top and into the money.
Game 6 was interesting, to say the least. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do a quick recap of that. I don't even know if it's a professional basketball game or whatever it was before we get into game 7 here. So looking back here, yeah, Minnesota put the hurt on 115-70, beat them by 45 points. Top three for Denver fantasy scorers: Gordon, Jokic, and Murray. Top three were Edwards, McDaniels, and Anthony Towns for Minnesota. Obviously, no one basically played the fourth quarter. All the scrubs came in and finished it out. Even though what's his name Jackson Reggie Jackson came in and got 0 points after missing 7 shots. But I'm not hurt about it. Looking at going into the optimal here, guy did end up soloing it here. Looks like Edwards MVP, Towns star, Gordon pro, Reed, and Daniels. So yeah, dude hit 30K. Congratulations to him, her, whatever. And then the projected ownership getting in here to this upcoming game 7. Yeah, I like it. Few positions or few players that can be utilized for leverage here. So yeah, go ahead and take a look at this, ownership, and use it to help build, those unique lineups that you can possibly be, that 30K to first, or in this case, 20K to first, and hit that solo just like that previous one. So getting in here to game 7, going back to Denver. Denver's coming in at favorites, looks about 4.5 point favorites. Low scoring. Vegas has it as a low scoring game, only a 197.5 over under. Then it looks like we'll go Denver, offensive rating 107.2, as that significantly dropped since they only scored 70 points last game. Defensive rating 112.1, and then the pace is pretty slow at 92.25. And then inverse, obviously, for Minnesota. Notable injuries: Murray still game time decision, and Conley game time decision. Both of them played last game, so I expect both to play this game. Getting anything else you want to add to this upcoming game 7 before we get into our key players here?
Just that I'm shocked again that Jokic is 16.5, and even Ann Edwards here at 15 is pretty interesting. So, at least it'll help make roster construction at least a little different. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, let's dive in, baby.
All right, here we go. Here you got as your first person.
So, this has kind of been my first go-to guy each time. I'm going Nikola Jokic all day. I do think Denver's going to pull this out. He is coming off his worst performance in literally months. The last time he scored, really under even 42. He scored 43 fantasy points, was way back against Sacramento, literally 2-3 months ago.
That's surprising.
I know, right? So yeah, especially against Sacramento. So there's just no way he's gonna have a bounce back game. He's went from having a 77 fantasy point game to 33. I don't think that's going to keep most people off of him by any means, but hopefully his ownership, even 5% less, would help. I'll be playing him at MVP and at star only. It's just, here we are, game 7. We more or less know what to expect here. So yeah, what are your thoughts on Nikola Jokic? Pretty much as a lock for me at star or or MVP. So,
Yeah, no,
uh,
obviously, coming in, he's at about 39 minutes, averaging 31.5 usage. So, and I don't think he's going to have a low scoring game like he just did. And based on how you're game scripting this or how what it's going to fall under, he's going to be the reason they either win or lose this game. If he has another performance like he did on Game 6, they're losing. If he plays like he has been, 3, 4, and 5, then they're winning. So it's basically how you're going to script it out to be. Yeah, I'll probably be messing around more in the star to gain that leverage play, but based on how I feel my lineups are doing, have a few obviously at the MVP as well. So yeah, no, like the pick. Um, Nothing too much to say. It's the
yeah,
MVP, so MVP of
reigning
the real
MVP.
league. So
Yeah.
yeah, nice, good pick, good pick. So moving on here to my first pick, I'm gonna go, more so like leverage plays for my picks here. So I'm gonna go with
Okay.
the other side of the ball, Anthony Edwards. I'm gonna have him at primarily MVP for that leverage. He is at 15K, so just right there, looking at 15K to 16.5, people always assume the highest salary has to be in MVP, so you can take advantage of those players there. Edwards is getting the minutes, 40 minutes. He's basically the same usage as Jokic, 28.9. He's averaging a little bit less at 47. He's projected about 48, 47 and a half. So I'll be using him mainly at the MVP coming in. He's averaging about 26% ownership there, 33 in the star. Last game he was 24% there and 36 in the star. So I'm hoping, and based on the lineup I'm doing, I'll be having him primarily at the MVP for that ownership because I have a feeling Jokic will be in the mid 60s there. So what do you think about that play before we get into my second
And
pick?
yours. Yeah, nope. Again, great play. I also like the MVP play there. Like you said, it's all about leverage. And again, if they win, it's going to be because of Anthony Edwards primarily, and he is going to have to outscore Joker, even if it's by 2 fantasy points. You know what I'm saying? So, love the pick. He'll be on the floor. He'll be taking over 23, 24. He's taken as many as 27 shot attempts. So, yeah, I really like the pick, especially at 15K. I mean, that's a great price for him, for sure, as far as what his floor and ceiling are. So, yeah, great pick. Who do you got here lined up for your second pick?
Yeah, yeah, and especially all these guys. Like, I'm curious to see the rotation, how it's going to pan out because it's win or go home. So like all the
Yeah.
stars should be playing. You should be at literally like a six person or 7 person rotation tops. Like
Unless foul,
yeah, foul
foul trouble
trouble.
though. You saw tonight, man. Foul trouble was insane tonight within the Dallas
Yeah,
game.
that's true.
So,
All right, second pick going back here to the old well, Mr. Aaron Gordon. So he's just been Mr. Consistent, this whole series. It's hard to argue, and he's hit that upper side as well. So I'm going to use him as my leverage play. He's getting up there in price now. He's at 12K. So I'm going to use him at the star position. He's averaging throughout this series, only about 4% in the star and 22% in the pro. Last game, he was slightly higher. He was at 6.3% star, 25% pro. So I expect him. He had one of his. I think he had an okay game, but obviously he didn't play as many minutes. 27 minutes. He still got 35 fantasy points. So yeah, I'm going to use him at the star to get that, less than 10% ownership there, and he has the potential to, get. He's averaging mid 30s, and he has the potential to get up to, mid 40s, 50s there as well. So that's why, I'm using him in that position. What do you think about that? Before we send it back over to you.
yeah, no, hey, well, that'll be the one pick. It sounds like we both have then, because that was going to be my next pick is Aaron Gordon. As you mentioned, it's all about the consistency that I've seen with him. The consistency we've seen. consistently uh, meeting salary, but then also exceeding it dramatically as well. So, he hasn't really had any dud games. It's just been, hey, here's some really solid games, and then bam, ceiling games. So, they're going to need, if Denver's going to win, they're also going to need someone like Aaron Gordon to be cleaning up rebounds, those rebound putbacks, the blocks, all
Yeah.
the 3 points that he hits and that type of stuff. So, um, I like I will have him at star, but he is the one guy I will be moving around, even as low as utility, strictly also as a leverage play. I have seen some guys who are 12K be down in utility and end up, you know, being optimal. So there are different ways to do it. I'm not saying I'm doing that in many lineups, but I will put him in every position except for MVP. He's definitely viable. So yeah, love the pick. I co-sign that. Sounds like that's the main one that we definitely both agree on. Moving over to my final pick, going back to the other side of the ball. Um, if the Timberwolves are going to win, Carl Anthony Towns, besides Ant Man, is going to be the reason why, because he's the other scorer on that team. Um, as I've mentioned before, shot attempts. 19 shot attempts, 18 shot attempts, um, 15, 13. I thought one of them he had even more, 17. But yeah, he's the next guy in line taking the shot attempts behind Ant-Man, and he also is taking lots of three-pointers as well. Well, here, if he's hot, he'll take more. If he's missing his first couple, then he kind of cools off. But he's going to have to get up for this game, and as far as his minutes are a little, I could see more minutes going to him than Reed or one of his backups, unless for some reason he's in foul trouble like usual or some other type of game script. But otherwise, I expect him to be on the floor as many minutes as possible. So, what are your thoughts here on my final pick? And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, no, he's getting, he's averaging 34 minutes, basically second highest on the team. Second highest usage is like about 22.7 or so. Technically, it's the third behind Nas Reed, but Nas Reed doesn't get as many minutes as Anthony Towns. So for the most part, he's the second player that has the highest usage on the team there. So yeah, no, I like him. 13-5. He needs to kind of have one of those good games. The 30, at least 30 points
oh
there.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
and like you said, it's all going to be depending on one, how I'm constructing my lineup, how he fits in it, and then obviously that goes into the game script that I'm going to be going, telling the story with the lineup. So, yeah, as far as that is, for me, it's going to be the lineup that I'm doing and how does he fit in it. So.
nice. Yep, perfect. Same here. Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on here to my last pick. It might be surprising here. This leverage play, but I'm going to go to Alexander Walker. I like him at the pro position. He has the potential. I mean, he's he hasn't been as consistent as the first round, playoff round, but you're getting 26.5 minutes, 15 usage. He's averaging about 15 points. He's only projected 13 for this one. However, I mean, just looking back, he does have the potential for those, 30 plus point games. And even, he had a 28.91 in game 5, and he had a 31 point game in game 2. So the potential is that game 2, Rudy Gobert was out, but so there is potential there. So using him in the pro, I'll have him. I'm not going to say 100%, obviously, but I'll be definitely above the field on him because the field is not that high. He's averaging only 2% in the pro, 25% in the utility, and then this last game was even less. It was at 1.1% pro and 19.6, so about 20% utility. So obviously you're hoping for one of those 28, 30 point fantasy points, and at 9K, that's what you're expecting. So if he can get you, those mid 20 points at a 9K salary in the pro position, only 1% owned, you're setting yourself up for potentially a pretty good run there. So that's why I like him. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, love the play as well. I'm a big fan of his. I think, obviously Denver got blown out big time, and even though he had 11 fantasy points, he only had played 17 minutes. He's usually been playing, he played, let's just call it 40 minutes the game before that. So had you kind of multiplied those numbers as if he did those minutes, he probably would have had another great night and hit 30 fantasy points. So, like he did the night before. So he did hit that with Rudy and with everybody in, um, or unless that was the game without Conley. That's going to be the other thing is Conley starting? Is who's going to be starting and that type of stuff. Although regardless whether Alexander Walker starts or not, he still does seem to get the minutes. Uh, you know, it has been a little all over the place, but with how well they've done when he is in, I could see coach wanting to play him. So yeah, I do like the play. As you mentioned, there's really just not much down there that's cheaper. I don't, it's tough to go lower than Christian Braun at 8K.
Yeah,
So
and like I said, I mean, he's to be over the field. I'm not talking. I'm not going to go 40% at pro. I'm probably going to go, 8 to 10%. Of my lineups or so at pro. So I'm still going to be, if I did 10 lineups, I'm going to probably do maybe 2 or 3 with him in the pro. So I'm not going to get crazy,
Perfect.
but definitely have him as a leverage in that spot for sure. So.
Awesome. Yeah. And again, it's good to pick players like that at home, that are because he's going to play better at home. So, yep. Love the pick.
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Nice. So, yeah, with that, this basically kind of wraps up here the Western Conference. Dallas, ended OKC's run here. Then we obviously will have the winner of this game. And then we're, Indiana's also playing on the same night, so then we're moving here to the conference final. So we're going to do our best, obviously, to cover both games as long as they're on separate nights. If they're on the same night, then obviously we would probably just put out one video, and it'd probably be the Western Conference. That's typically the higher paying slate. So yeah, stay tuned if you want all the information. We give it here. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. If we didn't mention a player and you want more information, please also put it in the comment. We'll be more than happy to give our opinion there, as well as just a heads up. We primarily play NBA here on FanDuel, so any DraftKings questions, probably if won't know too much response in terms of that. So yeah. So with that.
Save those for the UFC because we do UFC on DraftKings.
Yeah, so yeah, that's coming up here. So with that, good luck. Hope to see you up on that leaderboard. And David, go ahead.
Yep, hey, it's going to be a great game 7. Looking forward to it. Can't wait to see who's going to match up against Dallas. Here we are, man. We're getting down to the end. Can't wait. It's going to be bigger prize pools coming and everything. So keep tuning in. We're here for the free advice for you. Please like, subscribe. All this is free. We're here for you. We're here to have fun, make some money. So good luck. See you guys on the next one.